You're back for more of his dark materials here on BuzzChomp, and I'm reacting to episode 4 of season 2, Whoa. I'm Dan Salem, worlds collided, all of them, in the city in the sky. I am loving the show, and while some things are kinda obvious, most of this has been shrouded in mystery and being revealed to us at their choosing. This episode we got a ton of information on the history of these three worlds, and how they collided in the past, and how they are currently connected. We ended with Boreal taking Marisa to World 3, where the city in the sky is, the Tower of the Guild, and the subtle knife resides. Lyra and Will are there. They just had gotten the knife. The witches go there to find Lyra. Lee is leading Grumman to the Splinter to step into that world. And Azrael is already there. Everyone is in the city in the sky. Everyone has joined one world as they all collide together. It would appear as though we saw Boreal step from World 2 to World 1. Yet he didn't actually do that. It looks like there's a splinter between Oxford World 2 and the city in the sky, and there's a splinter between Oxford World 1 and the city in the sky. And therefore, it's a triangular connection. But the piece between the two Oxfords, I don't think exists, because we never actually saw anyone step directly from Oxford 1 into Oxford 2. We thought we did, but Boreal would step from one Oxford to the other Oxford, and in reality, I believe he was stepping out of the first Oxford, traipsing through World 3, the city in the sky, and then stepping back into the other Oxford, World 2, or when he was returning 2 to 1. And this is because of how he led Marisa, and then they appeared there. And we see in the previews that she's going to be in World 2, so it would make sense to me that there are, in fact, the two splinters, and then the one Azrael just created, which is what Lyra used, which is the third. But there wasn't a direct between the two Oxfords, because we never saw anybody to use it. I mean, I don't think that it's there. I thought it was, and now I don't think so. It's a little bit inconsequential, because wow, we know everything about everyone now, don't we? But I have no idea. Boreal wants to fund the cave for military purposes, but he doesn't actually. He wants in on an alethiometer being birthed and another individual learning to read dust. Dust is actually angels. Angels are made up of dust. There's millions and billions of dust particles, and they collect into angels and form, and that's how they're conscious. They've been helping humans in the dark. Apparently, witches and Will's father Grumman can communicate, utilize the dust angels for their own magical purposes, interacting with nature as it exists. Lyra can talk to the dust, but is she talking to dust, or just her particular angel that's following her around, or the angel that's following the alethiometer? We don't really know. We linked angels with dust and dust with dark matter. I think it's a beautiful synergy of science and religion, philosophy, and how our worlds would be interconnected, are interconnected. I am personally a proponent of the multiverse theory, and it would make sense in an infinite number of universes that there are collections of 2, 5, 1, 3, like bunches together. You know how galaxies bunch in clusters, how stars bunch in within a galaxy, how planets bunch around a sun. I believe universes are bunched around potentially black holes, not quite sure. That's an undiscovered science. Well, in this series, it appears 3 worlds are bunched, connected together. The philosophers created the subtle knife to slice between them and to protect themselves, or pure evil. So now they've pitted good versus evil. We don't exactly know who's good and who's evil. We're told Azrael's a bad guy, yet we need him to help save the world. Will's dad, Grumman, doesn't know his son Will is now the new bearer. This knife chooses people very specifically. So was there something in the history of that family beyond the fact that his father found the magic ability to give himself a demon when he wasn't born with one, as far as we can tell, but now he has one, and he can control the wind, so he's like a warlock, witch, what have you. Yet he can't use the knife. He doesn't know how to get there. He's not familiar with the splinters. It's interesting how they know so much, yet they know so little. And that's true of life. But these characters are flawed. No one's like a know-it-all, has all the information. No one's pretending to be. Marisa has turned into a desperate search for her daughter, but she was always buddy-buddy with Boreal. We aren't quite sure what his agenda is to her yet, but she's going to owe him one if he can turn over Lyra. And he led her to World 3 to find Lyra, or World 2 to find the cave alethiometers. Lyra's not going to hand over the subtle knife. They want to, quote, steal it. This is Will's coming out party. This is Lyra's I can be number 2 coming out party, because she was trying to lead but didn't necessarily want to lead. Now there's a partnership forming. The specters of World 3 appear to be evil incarnate, right? When you sliced between a world, you inherently severed the ties that bind. You severed dust. And the repercussion is this angry dust that's fighting back to try to remove spirit. Because the knife can slice spirit, so then it's almost like a cause effect. You get the specters, right? So if you seal back up, which I said you had to be able to do, if you can seal back up your splinter, there's no reason for the specter to form. But the knife came from World 3, and there are several splinters, windows, what have you, open. And there's a giant one Azrael just made, a window, that's like, boom, beacon. And hence a lot of specters, a lot of evil dust energy. The dust energy looks exactly like the witches traveling around. This is not a coincidence. And the witches are now entering the same world where the specters reside. Boreal's there. I think he's a member of the guild. I think Will's dad was a former guild member. This guild is not just the bearer of the knife. This guild is a group of ancient philosophers who were treasure hunters and collectors. That is exactly what we've been shown as Boreal to be. I think this is what Will's dad was running away from to try to protect his son while also trying to save the world with Azrael. We don't quite know that agenda yet, how that would work. And it does not seem to line up with the prophecy surrounding Lyra. But again, the show is giving us the information we need right before we need it. So it's like a need-to-know basis. Having not read the books, there's a lot I want to know, but I kind of understand what's going on and so many fun questions to ask. If Grumman and Boreal are guild members, or former guild members because the guild appears to have dissolved, then they are very familiar with angels, with dust that makes up the angels, with the alethiometer that lets you communicate with these dust angels, and with the knife that lets you fend off the evil dust angels or stride between worlds. They also could just be wannabes, right? Because this is a famous ancient guild that traverses worlds. Boreal says he stumbled upon a window, never shared it with anybody, but Will's dad also knew of these windows, and he was trying to search out Will's dad. There's a lot of information that we don't know. I don't think anyone's, quote, lying, but they are withholding so much. And Will's past and Lyra's past are very, very cloudy at the moment. Azrael's nowhere to be seen, but everyone keeps talking about him. Lee's kind of getting dragged along. The witches are out for blood. Marisa's out for motherly love. Boreal's agenda is still not 100% clear, even though it cleared up and then got muddy watered all over again. Worlds are colliding. We think there's a war going on, but the city in the sky is already decimated and has specters running amok. Are we expecting another big blow-up showdown? Are we going to slice their way so Will and Lyra can escape? What about the scientist that created the cave? She communicated with the dust. It actually spoke directly to her, an angel, I suppose. She seems to have information that nobody else has right now. This is rather intriguing. Super intriguing. I'm Dan Salem. I am left with so many open questions. Subscribe to the BuzzChomp YouTube channel as we continue to follow his dark materials. And I'm going to try to answer the questions, ask new ones. Haven't read the books. Please don't spoil. But you're loving my predictions. I didn't dive so much into what I think is going to happen this time because I'm just processing how worlds are absolutely colliding into one hellstorm in World 3. Woo!